What up? What up? Here we are again at the Spittles, another week. And you already know what it is. It's me, Potch.
And it's me, Q.
J Buddy, as usual.
And today, we have our first honorary guest at the Spittles here.
A special guest, a real special guest for y'all. Real
Put some
special
respect
guest.
on his name.
Super respect for that.
Entrepreneur, certified dog trainer, coach at UFC Gym in Mamaroneck, and a proud father. Today we have with us Kenneth Boykin, a.k.a. Coach K.
Let's go.
Thank you for joining us, K.
Thank you for joining us, my brother. I appreciate you for taking the time out your busy day and coming to sit down and having a conversation with us, my bro.
Absolutely. It's a pleasure to be here. I always wanted to do something like this, be here and share a little bit of, my experience. So thank you for having me.
Yes, sir. So you're more than welcome here anytime, as well as all of you out there, our audience. Today we're doing things a little differently, so we can all sit here at the table and.
As you can see, all four of us could fit, but we still got it all figured out.
No matter what, we all here to chill. Like I said, come chill with us. We always tell y'all, come chill with us.
Yeah.
As
Hit
long
that
as you
chat.
chill.
You know what I'm saying? Join us, right? That's what we here, right, guys?
As long as we could chill and grow together, that's all that counts.
Swap stories, swap ideas, right?
Definitely.
We all got something to bring to the table, right? Man?
So with enough of that, I would like for you to introduce yourself to our viewers, to give them a little bit about yourself.
So, as you can see, my name is Coach K. The reason why I'm called Coach K is because I like to coach. I like to teach, not just boxing and fight fit, but in general, just about life and experiences. I come from Westchester, Yonkers, New York. I was raised with my mom, my brothers, and during that time, it was a lot of different struggles that I went through, just being a black male, coming from a single home and having to be a role model for my younger brothers. So with that, I could easily tell you, there was a difference between being raised then and being raised in 2023.
It's a super difference now.
Yeah, we spoke about this before too. When we spoke about accessibility in our second episode.
That was
right?
up. Yes,
sir.
second episode. Yes, it was.
So one of those things, like growing up in the 90s, people wore baggy clothes, very baggy clothes. Nowadays you see fitted, everything is fitted. Pretty much, the trends always change, but for me, fitted was comfortable, and that also called for being different, and that being different caused a ripple of, I'm gonna call it hate.
It all starts out like that. So,
I'm gonna call it hate, because I had to fight a lot because I was different. I had big feet. I wore, my clothes fitted. My family raised me to have my pants, above my waist, and so I had to go to school that way. And I got into fights and stuff, and I had to learn how to fight. So that's a little. One of a few reasons of how I became, how I got into coaching and stuff like that, having to learn how to fight myself because of being different,
Yep.
So
I can totally attest to that. When I was growing up, I was for lack of better words, a geek. You know what I mean? I went to the school for gifted and talented. I was in all the honor roll classes. And I too dressed formal. I dressed formal, actually. I had dress pants and a polo shirt. Most of my upbringing, and I got bullied for that. Entering high school was extremely difficult for me, and I literally had to swap my whole persona to survive, because I had to get in with the people that could fight, get in with the people that were cutting class and all that stuff to survive my
do whatever you had to do to
high
fit
school
in.
days. Yeah, it wasn't easy at all, bro. So I can definitely attest to that. Having to learn how to fight because of the sense of defending yourself. You know what I mean? You know, for the reasons of being bullied because of your appearance or who you are or how your upbringing is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Some environments that shit don't matter. It don't matter how they raised you. When you fall into the right crowd sometimes, but sometimes you can't avoid the wrong crowd.
Yeah, it was very confusing because there was like once I reached like let's say high school, right? There was for 1 year uniforms that we had to wear.
Exactly.
Some kids had to wear it, some kids didn't, but there was uniforms, and I tried to wear the uniform, and even that didn't work. You got picked on for your uniform being too tight, or
And you want a color for your grade, so they knew what grade you was in. Like, oh, you yellow, you 7th grade, bro. That's you. Like, right? Blue, some shit like that. Blue was the seniors, so they knew who was who. That was a good thing for the school because they could easily identify people. You know,
Which classes who belong
Yeah.
where? That you're supposed to be on that floor.
but they didn't know what it did for us having to wear uniforms and all of that. You know what I mean? Especially outside.
yeah, I thought they made it seem like we were saving money, but I really don't know what it was about. All I know is that it didn't last too long, especially in my school, it didn't last too long.
That's a fact, bro. That's a fact. And then where else did your life take you after your school years, where you were?
So once I hit about 16, I got in trouble. Got into big trouble. Wound up in a penitentiary, and I was tried as an adult, even though I was only 16 years old. For robbery, and I was sent up north. Yeah, they sentenced me to 6 years in prison. So I was snatched out of school, away from
For
family.
those people
and
that don't know what's up north, what's that?
up north is the Department of Corrections.
Yeah, correctional
the
facility,
Department of Correction.
north in the state of New York, right?
Yeah, north.
The northern
That's
regions.
where they have the correctional facilities. Is north,
Yeah.
north
of
New
the
York.
city,
So
yes. So we call that
it
up north. Yeah. Even if you were to go, well, some niggas that say I live up north because I live up there in the mountains. You know what I'm saying?
But what about if you go to the western part of New York? Is that still considered up north?
Yeah,
if
it's
it's
like
northwestern, then yeah.
out west.
Anything past, like Westchester or Dutchess, or technically like past what, Orange County, Dutchess County?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Because I live in
it's-
Orange
it's
County.
like-
That's like
You
not
start,
up,
you,
that's
you
not up north
really,
yet.
you're getting up there.
Yeah, so
2 hours
your
away,
life-
2 hours away from the city, now you're really getting up there.
Exactly, and it's unfamiliar as fuck because of where we come from. You looking out whatever view you can get, and you know we're near home, bro.
You're seeing nothing but trees.
Yeah, trees, definitely.
So life took you up north, and
So yeah, 16 years old, you still used to family and friends and stuff like that. Even though I had a rough patch where, I was homeless for a bit before I went up north. I had to fully grasp what it meant to try to be independent, having an independent mind, but not fully understanding maturity, being only 16, but feeling a lot older, but not having those opportunities as an adult, that not having the opportunities that an adult has at 16. I wound up getting in trouble. So when I hit the penitentiary, I was tried as an adult. I was sent, upstate New York into the corrections, and it was horrible. There's nothing to glorify about being in prison. The food is definitely not the best. The living conditions are not the best, and it really forces you to. It really forces you to remember what you left behind. And I say what you left behind because I left a lot behind that I didn't realize. And hurt a lot of people that I didn't even know cared about me. Didn't even know thought about me, let alone was affected by my decision. So the Department of Corrections was a hard reality that, listen, this is not it. This is not it.
that shit showed you the hard way.
Yeah, definitely did.
Yeah, man.
In more ways than one.
Yeah, a lot of people. I mean, all of us in this room got to witness that. You know what I mean? You know, I haven't done a long stint like 6 years, but Bunny has. You've done a couple of years as well.
5 years.
I'm sure it taught all of us something. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, I was talking about it the other day, and I said that because I laughed because I told Cuban, I was like, it actually wasn't that bad. And then what I meant by that was that while I was in there, it provided me with a moment of clarity. You know what I mean? And to think about things and put life into perspective. Like, you saw who really cared for you. You know what I mean? And who didn't. You know, you saw what, like you said, what you were missing. You know, you saw who was affected by the fact that you weren't around, the decisions you made, right? It's a ripple effect.
Yeah, so, you know, being 16 years old, spending from 16 to 21 is very, very challenging because that is the time that a young man transitions, you know, into adulthood or you know, a teenage into a young adult. So I was taken away from society and put into a whole other society around.
Your whole youth was taken. I'm sorry to cut you off, but that's exactly my same story. I got locked up when I was like 15 and a half, and I didn't come home till I was 20. You know what I'm saying? So like
those grooming years.
Yeah, I'm gone.
You wasn't allowed that. Yeah.
I was next to somebody that was facing life. You understand what I'm saying? I was with somebody with a DIN number that had 89 behind it. You understand what I'm saying? So it's like I could definitely agree with you. Like, Dan, that's some real shit.
Yeah. So I had to make a decision on what I wanted to do because obviously what I thought was correct, you know, wasn't working, and I wasn't, you know, privy on what the law was for me or for anyone. So I had to learn. I came home 21, and I tried my best to get acclimated to society again.
Yeah.
You know.
And they don't make that easy. No, they don't make that easy.
That definitely wasn't easy. You know, I had a curfew and a lot of restrictions, which meant that I could only have certain jobs. Also, I had to pay, you know, to be free. You know, they put me on a surcharge where I had to pay to be free. So, you know, being that when I was in prison, I was only making, let's say, 16 cents an hour. In my mind, all right, I gotta pay to be free, and I go work, you know, a little job. At least I'm free, you know. So it motivated me to at least try to stay free.
Yeah, you were able to appreciate the finer things. I mean, the smaller things, because of the lack of it when you were inside. You know what I mean? So it was much bigger to you. The things that some people out here don't want. They're like, I don't want that job. The fuck? You like, come on, bro.
I was working for pennies, nigga.
Imagine. Yeah, that's a fact. I'm taking this. Give me that. I want that.
Basically,
Yeah,
you know,
fact. Yeah.
working for pennies, and then the social skills. You know, the social skills I was lacking in some social skills because, you know, being placed in the solitary housing unit, the SHU or the box, what it did was it isolated me and kept me away from society. And what I mean by that is being placed in a room by yourself where you cannot communicate with another person. It causes your mind to shut down almost in an animalistic type of way. You know, like you really cannot, you get punished if you even attempt to try to talk to the next person. So, you know, that was something that I went through numerous times in there amongst the beatings, you know, that really caused my social skills to be affected. Meaning I didn't want people behind me when I was home. I didn't want to be in elevators with strangers. Yeah. You know, like there was, you know, certain authority figures that, you know, it would make me sweaty and shake just a little bit for them to be around, because I wasn't sure if I was gonna have privileges taken away or if I was gonna be abused. So I had to adapt.
Yeah, and they don't understand the implications that can have on anyone, let alone the youth growing up. You know what I mean? Like, and then they put you back out there in the world and expect for you to
Be normal again.
know what you're doing because you're of age. It doesn't matter if you lack the years to get here. Now you're 20. How old were you when you came out?
So I was 21.
21. So now it's like you're 21.
21.
You should know what to do.
They put you out here, but they also restrict you further, so that because with the curfews, even though I thought about these things, to be outside after, let's say, 9 o'clock, and you don't have actual business, then it's a dangerous thing. It can be potentially a dangerous thing, because what are you out there for then? So I can understand in that respect, but aside from your own consciousness of that, to have a restriction where you have to be inside, let's say by 6 o'clock, because I had a 6 o'clock curfew when I came home. How am I supposed to maintain a job that is going to be beneficial for me, let alone anybody else in my circumference?
Exactly.
And just trying to maintain myself, since I was the one who came home, having a job that understood that I just came from prison. I'm a felon, but I'm trying to show that just because I'm a felon, I'm no different than you. I just made
a mistake.
I did something wrong that I paid for. Just like if you mistakenly taking an apple from the store, you're gonna go and pay for it. All right, I did something, I wasn't privy of the law. I paid for it.
Let's move along.
But yeah, let's move along. Why do I have to? So it was very difficult, and relationships and things were affected by this.
Yeah, they don't know how deep it goes
At all.
afterwards. They're not the ones dealing with it. They're not the ones going through it.
No,
so
they're just getting
they have
paid.
no idea. And even when you try to bring it to their attention, sometimes that shit falls on deaf ears too.
Because they're just judging you.
But as we proceed along, I would like for you to elaborate more now on what has sparked your interest in your current craft. Like you elaborated on that a little bit.
Okay,
Let's
so
dive into that a little bit more.
all right. So what happened was I had gotten into trouble again within the same year. So I was 22. I went back to prison, and I was fed up with myself. I was fed up with not knowing the law. Just fed up with a lot of things, and I lost so much so quickly. I saw a peak of my potential of what I could do, but had it snatched so fast. So I had to focus up. So while I was in prison, there was a program that was available to me, Puppies Behind Bars program, and through that program I got my dog training certificate. And it really helped to influence me in a way that I always had a passion for animals, but I wasn't sure what to do with it. I wasn't sure if I should, just try to be a zoologist, or if I should never do anything with it at all.
You just had a love for the animals. Period.
I just love
every time
animals.
you see animals, you just go crazy and shit.
Yeah, I like learning about animals, and like Pod said, just that nerdiness of that interest, wanting to learn things about stuff
that intrigued you. Basically,
it really, and it still does.
And once you dive in, it's like a rabbit hole.
I found that I was good at it.
That's what's up.
I started teaching other inmates how to dog train, via the program. I started to educate my family from what I learned via the program. And I said, you know what, rather than just stay focused on working out or even just dog training, if I could learn this, the potential is great.
Endless, yeah.
So I didn't just stop there. I got my GED when I was in prison. I got the dog training certificate when I was in prison. Food service certificate while I was in prison.
Nice.
I just started getting what I could, but I started focusing on what I was going to do when I got out, because I knew that this was only half the battle, learning what I learned in here. So that became the next focus.
And that's very insightful to.
crazy.
I hope that's very insightful to all of our viewers out there, because you took advantage of your experience in prison. You learned skills, and you came out
And flipped it into a business.
with the MO, with the main objective of applying it in your life. And now you're more of a viable asset to society. And what they thought they can take away from you,
He built it.
fought to get it back. Yes, sir.
Yeah. So
Yes, sir.
to elaborate more on that, I really wanted to focus on one. Like I said, I went back to jail, and then I had to get this awakening, and I didn't understand why I went straight like back to jail so fast within 13 months, or why I continued to see my peers and just always see this recidivism rate. Like, what was it about? Why was it always a revolving door? So why was it so easy to go back?
But it's just so hard to come back out. Like, it'd be dumb easy. You could go in there dumb for nothing, but to get back out would be like, damn, I've been sitting here for like a month. Why?
I mean, some speculation would say that it's built like that, right?
Yeah. I
Right?
mean, it's definitely
Unfortunately. Systematic.
It's definitely designed to have you, in jail. I'll put it to you like
Yeah,
that.
that's what I'm-
It's designed to have you in jail. What I wanted to do was break whatever it was that was keeping me
In that cycle.
in that
yes, sir.
cycle. My father went to jail, my friends, brother, like, why? So what I started doing was watching other people around me who went ahead and seeing what they was doing wrong. So I noticed that with certain rules, it some were simple and some were just like, listen, I got to do whatever I got to do to get off this parole. So
That's the same way I felt.
curfew. I knew that I could only have certain jobs. I knew that I could only go to certain family functions, and I knew that I could only have certain relationships because, listen, I just can't be outside after 8 o'clock.
And there was no accommodating that whatsoever.
The only way
Whatsoever.
the only
Yeah.
way you could be outside after 8 o'clock is if you had a job.
If you had a job.
I guess if you
now
were
listen.
working, but then you're still at risk on the way home.
Here's the thing, right? You could, if you had a job, but depending on who your officer was, they didn't care. So I didn't want to risk it. I was tired. I did enough time. 7 flat is what they sentenced me to the second time.
You said I'm gonna be home.
I'm gonna be home. I'd rather be home than be sitting and waiting for the CO to call account. And I got to get out my bed and stand up and stuff.
And this is after you came home from doing from 16 to 21?
Yep.
sir.
So from 22 to 28, I was incarcerated for a second time. I didn't feel like I needed that much time to understand that. Listen, I don't even want to be associated with certain things, but listen, I got it. I had to make the best of it, and I did. Thanks to God, I made it out. I got the dog training certificate. I read a lot. My family was very supportive, and I figured that it was better for me to learn how to be an entrepreneur or someone who learned how to make money come to him in a positive way than stay focused on just being incarcerated. And when I say that, because I say that meaning there is so many ways to become incarcerated, You don't even have to look for it.
It's a
You
fact.
you want to go to jail? Yeah, they'll put you in there, no problem.
Just fucking sneeze, you go in there. Yeah, I dare you, nigga. Yeah.
That's why I said
That's a fact.
it's so easy for you to go to jail, but it's so hard.
Very hard to get out.
So between your battles in your childhood and your experiences in prison, you've acquired your skills. You've acquired the skills of this being a dog trainer, certified dog trainer. You got your food service certificate. A couple of things that you have mentioned.
Yeah.
Those battles enabled you to defend yourself, and now you're trying to pass that along through coaching at the UFC gym, right?
Yeah, so there was a lot of battles that I had to overcome. One was anger. I was angry about a lot of things that I witnessed, experienced growing up, from family to prison to the streets, to mental, spiritual battles. There was just a lot of different things that I had to overcome, but anger was the main root. I was angry about so many things that I just couldn't let go and that I couldn't identify with for so long that I was going to jail, or I was fighting and not understanding the misplaced anger, what I was fighting for. So once I understood, one, how to communicate better through dealing with my own anger and not allowing others to push my buttons so easy and not giving people the power to make me angry, it helped me to not only develop a better fighting skill, because I didn't mind fighting, but I realized that I was hurting people that didn't really deserve that anger. I was angry over injustice. I was angry over not having my dad in my life. I was angry over not being able to protect my brothers while I was in prison, or not being able to be present. Just a lot of different things. But knowing and identifying my own anger problems, and identifying that I didn't have to be so quick to be angry, but more quick to communicate with people, it made it better for me, and it made my transition into coaching very, very, very much needed, and it was a smoother transition than I thought it would be.
If you don't mind me asking, so for my viewers, what kind of coach are you?
So I coach fitness, I coach boxing, I also help motivate and inspire people to just be happy and live a better life,
What's up?
in general.
Life coach, like a life coach.
Something like a life coach. I'm more of a fitness instructor, because I love the body, what's under the skin, and helping people to lose weight, gain weight, build muscle. I was into bodybuilding for a little bit, and I have a boxing background. My older brother, he fought for the Golden Gloves for the Yonkers PAL. And
Shout out Rondell.
yeah, shout out to my big bro Rondell McGee. He definitely influenced me on boxing, and because of it, I was, even though I was slim, I wore glasses, I love to read. I'm still on my nerdy stuff, but I like to be, fresh. I had to fight, because people were like, listen, who do you think you are, looking the way you look? You think you who do you think you are? And they wanted a piece of me. So I had to give it to them.
Just keep sharpening your skills through that, right?
Yeah, listen, I had a lot of fights. I'm thankful, thankful to God. I had my nose fractured in 4 different places from a sneak punch when I was about 13. They put me to sleep at the hospital, re-broke my nose, put a metal splint over it. They said I had two options. Either the nose would be forever a glass nose, meaning it would break easier, in life, or the bones would heal stronger, the calcium would be thicker and it would be harder for it to break in the future. And that's what it was. Thanks to God, I never had it broken again. But yeah,
Sheesh.
I've been, scrapping,
Yeah, man, I got my share of battle scars too. Back in the days,
rolling
we
on.
fought. Back in the days, people actually fought. Nowadays, they a little sketchy now. Guns be out there and everything. Like, you know what I mean?
But how far did you take the actual boxing career? Did you take
So,
that like really fully serious, like your brother did, or you just like played with it?
So because of the times that I did in prison, I played with it. I did have a time when I could have, really did something with it, but then I had my son and was like, you know what? I don't know if the concussion is really worth it. But I had fought, regular, and won, and I got some underground stuff where I was, but other than that, I just picked up a lot of boxing through being under different trainers. Shout outs to Champs Gym, Ryan in New Rochelle, and Larry, and shout out to the Yonkers PAL once again, because going to different gyms, being around different people, I'm the type of person I could just absorb the positivity and learning. So I was able to pick up things over my years. I'll be 38 in April.
Nice.
I was able to pick up a lot of things just over the years.
Right there with you, bro. Yeah, right.
You know what I'm about to say? I say it every fucking time.
38 in October.
I'm sitting around a whole fucking bunch
Stop
of
it. He's in his 30s
man.
though, so whatever. We ain't
I
hearing
say this
that.
every episode.
Yeah, man.
Fucking whole bunch
But
of
Listen. One
look,
thing that I want to
I
add
know-
to being an old head is that I'm happy though.
That's a
I
fact.
know, but-
I made
I got my wisdom right here. You see my wisdom?
I made it. I seen so many
Yeah, man.
fall to the wayside.
But you know what I
My
get
son
from
tired tonight.
You know what I get from sitting around you older brothers. I get all three different perspectives of life.
As you should.
Right.
And
And
absorb it.
similarities too, man, because
Absorb it.
some of your story is very similar to mine as well.
And so vice versa, but I'm just on a younger version. You understand what I'm saying? But it's still like, wow, we kind of been through like almost the same journey in life. Not damn near the same, but like it's kind of started out. I just didn't do an extra 7. I don't know, bro. I could commend you for that. Like, he did an extra 7 on top of the bro.
Yeah.
Bro, that first 6 killed me. I didn't think I could do. Nah, bro. He said 7 on top of that. I could commend you
bro.
for that.
Yeah, man. Thank you. There was times when it was like one day, like the whole time was like one long day, because you do like the same thing over and over again,
Yeah.
like Groundhog's Day, like the
Routine.
old movie Groundhog's Day, everything over and over again. So there's days I wake up, I'm like God, you really allowed me to wake up again.
Hey,
This
man.
again, like, listen, I don't know if I can handle this again. You said you wouldn't give me more than I can handle. I don't know if I can handle this one again, but I did.
You did.
So I'm very thankful. My father is schizophrenic, and he was in prison. I've seen a lot of people just lose their mind in prison, and I didn't want to be one of them. So there was a lot of mechanisms that I had to use to stay sane, and reading and whatever I could get, because the library was so poor then. Whatever I could get, I would read. I would talk to myself to self-motivate, in a self-talk, a positive self-talk way. I would just work out. I would shadow box. I would do whatever I could while isolated to make sure that I stayed sane, because I kid you not, it is a very insane, inhumane place to be, when you can't socialize with people, or you just can't do things that normal people can do in a respect of just reading a book. Or if you're not on your gate, meaning if you're not ready by the time they walk by with the tray, you don't get fed. That's it. So anyways, I was able to overcome those type of things and really get focused on coaching and dog training and you know, things that were more beneficial for my life.
Yes, sir.
And what
As you should.
what influenced you the most on like with your dog training or your coaching career? Like, what was your most? What influenced you the most to want to do that? Wanna-
So, with dog training, so when I was a kid, my grandmother had these encyclopedias that I would just read. I don't know why I was so intrigued. I guess because it had pictures in it, so I can like relate more like to the pictures, and then being able to read it with the pictures, I understood it. So I saw like so many different animals from all across the world. There was National Geographic and all that stuff, but you know, my grandmother showing me those things at first, you know, like allowing me to have access to her library. Shout out to my grandmother, who is a retired special ed teacher. You know, that really like boosted me into like once I was able to see that I can do this dog training, I was like, yes. And she supported that. You know, she along with my mom, she would come see me. She would send me letters like, listen, keep doing the dog training, you know, like this is really making me happy. I can see you changing. This is for you. So, you know, my grandmother definitely was a very big influence, you know, aside from my mom, in, you know, dog training.
That's what's up.
That's what's up. I feel that.
And what are your current goals? Like, what are you pursuing now? What's driving you forward?
Now, well, current goals and what's driving me forward. So what's driving me forward is my son. You know, my 6-year-old. That's what's driving me forward right now. He's my inspiration, my sunshine, my everything. You know, like he's the reason why, you know, no matter what, I'm smiling and, you know, I'm persevering and really trying to progress. You know, I'm progressing forward in what I'm doing because he didn't ask to be here, but neither did I.
That's it.
Now, I grew up not knowing my father up until my late, you know, teens, and then really into my adulthood. You know, whereas my son, you know, within a few days old, he was, you know, sleeping on my chest. So,
Shit, I still don't know my father.
you know,
And you don't have that privilege, yeah.
some, you know, some
So
people
you
still.
gotta do what you.
Some
you gotta
people
do.
still don't have that privilege. So that is exactly why I am inspired
Sir.
to do what I'm doing. Because when I look at my son, it's like, all right, continue coaching, continue allowing people to know a little bit about yourself, but not just, you know, all the bad stuff, but how you're doing good, how you're progressing, how you're making something of yourself, but also being a role model and showing people, yeah, you know, don't judge a book by its cover.
Exactly.
You know, just because I got
Biggest
jewelry or, you know, don't judge a book by its cover, because you never know. You
What's
know,
on the inside
it's like
of that
those,
book.
It's like those Godiva chocolates, them chocolates
Yeah.
that the girls love all the time. You don't know which one is which.
Yeah.
You know,
Gotta
don't
try
judge.
it. Try
Gotta
it.
try it first. Gotta try it
I ain't
first.
gonna lie. I
Ask me a
didn't try one
question.
of those, though. I ain't gonna lie.
Talk to me nice.
I ain't never tried one.
Your man don't be trying nothing.
I ain't never tried one of those. They have different flavors inside though?
Yeah, different flavors.
Yeah, my man don't mess with none of that.
I don't know.
Nah, listen, listen.
You gotta try because you never know. Listen, I'm like that now with I'm trying to change up my diet, you know, trying to lose some weight. I put a couple of things in my life in perspective and made changes, and now health is a big one. And you know, the biggest thing I want to do is lose weight, because more importantly, not because I have to, but because a lot of people would think that you can. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna do that, and with doing that, I started eating new things that I never ate before. And before I would be more reluctant, like I'm not trying to hell no. That's how Cuban is. I'm not eating that. But
That's good.
you gotta try it because you never know what you like. Because now I be trying new stuff, and I'm like, yeah, that's important to eat. Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, I watched that with my son.
Making
I
lifestyle
watched
changes.
him say, I don't want that, you know. But he'll see me eat it. I'm like, it's good. Try it. And that trust, he's like, I tried it. It's good, Daddy. And he was introduced to a few new foods.
And be more willing to try other stuff now
In the future.
because he tried that, he liked it. He's like, hey, so now I know that if I try something,
Built that confidence.
I may like it.
See, but me, it's different. When my kids, I let them try anything you want to, you try it. But man,
But with you, no.
I'm not eating none of that.
Burger boy.
Yeah,
Same
I'm not
Burgers
eating
for
none of
life.
that.
Give me a burger, dog.
I'm giving
Burger for life.
He said, look at the menu. He
I
said,
understand, though.
he said, there's fries here.
There's fries.
There must be burgers.
Yeah. You see how long it took me? I was over here like this. I was flipping through the pamphlet.
Yeah.
Then I went back to the French fries part. Like, damn, it gotta be Subway.
Gotta be burgers there nearby.
some chicken wings or something. It gotta be some tenders. Something. One of them two.
So what if at this, from then where your childhood was stripped to you from you, sorry, and your progression into your adulthood, like, and then until current day, all those time frames, what were your biggest highlights that you would say? Like, what are your biggest highlights for your life?
I had a few highlights in my life. So I almost got signed to Epic Records. I had sang for them when I was 21.
Are you a singer?
Yeah.
So, nah, niggas gotta- you got some
That's
music?
another episode. That's another
You got some
episode.
music? Man, why ain't there?
We gotta
Why
tap
ain't
into
there
that.
that?
Yeah.
I don't know. You know,
Hey,
that was a thing.
I make music
But,
too, so never know
no.
where that could go.
Yeah, when I was 21, I had some songs and stuff and sing for them. But like going to prison, it messed that one up. But that was definitely a highlight, knowing that I had the opportunity, to even try something like that. Also, a highlight was getting my LLC. I have
Nice.
a LLC for my
Congratulations to
dog
that.
training.
Yeah, we gotta get that applause on
Definitely.
that. Round of applause for that one. That's what we're trying to do, trying to get that LLC as well one day. So we got to
Yeah,
talk
got
about
the
that.
soon. That's
LLC,
not even
for
one
my
day, that's
dog training
soon.
business, and just again being a proud father, finishing parole, being free is just a big accomplishment. And
That's a highlight in itself, right?
you know what I'm saying? Like literally, being like people underestimate freedom until it's stripped.
So,
Like I had to use the bathroom with somebody there. Like
Shower with
being
somebody
free.
there.
No privacy.
So I guess to help people understand what it is really let me tell you some of the things that I appreciate out here to make you really think about what I didn't have. Like I appreciate having a sink where, like, let's say I go to the restroom where I can put my hand and the water comes out by itself and I don't have to touch the sink. That's now how it
That's
works
a
in
luxury.
prison. You have to turn that or push a button, and the water streams down down the wall, and there's a green film on there, but you got to drink that.
And
Like
it's little.
just a little, it just dribbles out. It dribbles out.
you gotta get close up on it.
Yeah, you basically got to kiss the fountain in order to get some water.
Put the milk right under
The carton.
Put the milk carton right there, and let the milk carton fill up.
It was that bad though at times.
Yeah.
You
have to find a way.
We can laugh at it now.
Stay thirsty.
Yeah, stay thirsty, my friends.
Yeah.
We can laugh at it now, but it's a reality.
Yes, sir.
Like that some people are still going through. Some people are paying, $3 for a top ramen soup. What type of logic is that? People are really going through it, and I'm not saying that people don't deserve a punishment or for their crimes or that the law is meant to be broken. That's not what I'm saying, and What I'm trying to get people to understand is that if you don't understand the law, this is what's going to happen, right? But in the United States, more people are incarcerated than the entire world combined. So there's a problem with
Hold on,
just
you said more people are incarcerated.
more people are incarcerated in the United States
Than anywhere in the world.
than the whole world combined in prison. Like their ratios for people being in prison, if you look at the people in their prisons, right, you take all of them combined, we have more. So how is that?
We got more people in prison here than Russia.
Than the people have in prison in Russia
Yeah.
and China
And the
and
entire world
Australia
combined.
and Africa combined.
We have more prisoners
people.
here.
We have more people in prisons. We have way more prisons and people in them than the rest of the world.
The rest of the world combined.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's
It's
crazy.
a part of the United States. It's a part of the United States, stuff like that, obviously, because evidently it's not happening that much elsewhere, you know what I mean? So that's something that we gotta, and then we're out here trying to do our best to avoid that, since it's a part of where we live, right?
Yeah,
In some areas-
somehow, somewhere, it was made cool to go to jail. It was like, yo, listen, it was glorified. Let me go to jail. I'm gonna come home.
To an extent, in this generation, bro, I'm sorry to cut you off. It's still glorified to go to jail. If you listen to all this music right now.
Yeah, but even if you didn't glorify it, you were susceptible to it based on
Yes, circumstances.
Where you are or what you did and-
People can say environment. Listen, I had choices. I'm not gonna sugarcoat anything.
We all did, yeah.
I have to take accountability for myself. I had choices. I made those choices because I felt I had no other choices. But I had choices, but I felt because of the way I was living, I had no other choices. So I made certain choices that got me incarcerated. Now, what I am doing is I'm making reparations for my choices, meaning even though the ripple effect hurt everyone around me, now that I am here and free, I can do things like this podcast and let people know, listen, you can still do good.
it caused a positive ripple effect now.
I have felonies, plural, but I'm still working.
Yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying? Like I have been away from society a very long time, but I'm still being social on social media. So I want to be inspirational to those that still on parole, that think, oh, there's no other way. Nah, there is another way. You can still do things and still get off parole and still drive a car. You can still have a job, get married, have kids, and do things. Like, don't think just because you don't see it around you, because that part right there, I wanna just touch on real fast. I didn't see the success around me from other people who were on parole.
Okay.
I didn't see it. I heard people who've never been to jail or people who are already successful tell me, you can do it. You can do it. You can do this. You can get this job. You can do that job. But people that were actually on parole or who have made it off of parole, I wasn't seeing that.
Yeah, so you didn't believe, hey, how can that happen for this parolee?
See, that's the thing. I believed it could happen for me. I just didn't know how because I couldn't see it.
Yeah. It wasn't available to you.
There was no role model for that.
It's one of those bars like LaRussell said in one of his bars. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like he said something pertinent to you. How could you ever be what you never see? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it's true. This is the ideology that is forced upon us. You know what I mean? Where we set those limits. That's not for us. We're not the ones that normally have that.
Listen,
You know what I mean?
honestly, the what I was being told, if I would have, this is what I was hearing all day from people who were on parole around me. I'm gonna get a EBT card, I'm gonna get my benefits.
Cash them bitches in.
I'm going to get on Section 8, you know, somehow, so that I can get an apartment for free. You know what I'm saying? And I'm going to just chill. You know, if I'm gonna try to get a job, or I'm gonna get a job, but there was no like direct link to a job, or there was no real category.
Yeah.
Like
Or any
no
resources.
specific job, or there was few they give you a few resources, but it's like, what is that?
No real desire for anything.
Yeah,
No, like
For
the
some of the
resources
people,
they give
a lot
you
of-
at this level.
A lot of the people that I saw on parole had a desire to not want to go to jail, but I feel like when it came to the resources, it is very limited. You know, it's like you get this handful or you get nothing, and you have to figure it out. But again, from a parole officer's perspective, you've never been incarcerated. You deal with thousands upon
Parolees.
thousands of parolees who come from jail, so you feel like you got it figured it out, but you've never been incarcerated yourself, so you cannot tell me how it feels to go on that interview because you're employed as a parole officer.
Yeah.
You can't tell me how it is to go in there and say, yeah, you know, I've been incarcerated for 7 years, but please hire me.
Yeah.
All you can tell me is, oh, they gotta hire you because, you know, the government only
Equal
allow-"
opportunity.
They're not really trying to hear that.
Yeah, that's a fact.
What if they already got a couple
It's
parolees there?
their discretion. Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
so what I want to tell people is this: go out there. You know, those who are on parole and stuff, go out there and put your applications into any and every job you ever cared for. Because guess what? People nowadays don't really care like that, because everybody and their mother literally might have a felony or a misdemeanor on their record. You know, might have been to jail. You know, I know somebody, you know somebody knows somebody who's been to jail before. So erase the fear. There's so much fear that gets put on men when they come home, that I got a felony, I can't get this job, I'm not going to be able to provide.
stigma.
So
No, nobody want me.
as a provider or a leader or somebody who wants to be that, you think, oh no, you know, the time is limited, you know, I have to hurry up and get this. No, just follow the steps, take your time, and it will come, but apply to everything. Don't limit
Trust the
yourself.
process, and reach for everything. Yeah, that's the big thing. Be limitless. Like, we set these limits based on society's perspective of what should be for us, or what we think we should be going through on our own. You know what I mean? You have to break those barriers. You know what I mean? And with you breaking those barriers in your life, where do you see yourself in the next 5 years?
5 years from now? So 5 years from now, of course, I see myself still free. But I feel
Amen.
like,
Amen
As
to
you
that.
should, as you
Big
should.
blessings to that.
You know,
You know what I'm
I
saying?
feel
Hold on. You know what I'm saying? Let's round of applause for that. Yes, sir. Stay free all day. Yes, sir.
you know, thanks to God. But I feel like in 5 years, my business should be, you know, more lucrative, where I'll be able to hire people that need jobs. You know, I'll be able to help teach somebody how to dog train and, you know, get them started
sir.
who might have felonies.
Provide more
Definitely,
opportunities for others. Yeah.
You know,
So would people with felons would be your first priority, or just
people with felonies, I'm gonna look into it and see if that could be, you know, because I feel like everybody needs a chance, but who needs a chance more than the person who's had a step back? You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that the person who never got in trouble doesn't need a chance.
Who needs
what
a
I'm saying
chance
is
more?
they just need a little extra help.
underdog,
You know,
yes.
because they're looked at as, you know, all right, they already caused problems, but listen, if taxpayers' money is going towards prison, paying corrections and stuff like that, then how about allowing prisoners to work and actually pay back.
Build back,
You know what I'm
yes, sir.
saying? You want us to give back to society, then give us a chance to give back to society.
Open opportunities. Yes,
We got to
exactly.
be able to work. So, yeah, I do feel like, if I can, that would be an option.
I think there may be some organizations out there that are driven to assist people that are coming out of prison and get
A
back.
lot. There's a whole bunch. Like one of the I got my OSHA when the last time I did my last 4 months for
Social certificate, yeah.
Yeah, I got my OSHA 30, and it's called FedCap, and you could come home and they'll help you with a whole bunch of extra shit.
That's something good to have too, because that's something it makes you an asset in life. Like everything
Yes.
you acquire to learn more and be more, it becomes an asset and a contribution to this world. So it makes you more,
That's definitely.
I'm
a fact.
I'm also hoping that by then, my son will be able to start, doing some dog training, because ultimately, my goal is to have something for my son, because again, my motivation is my son. I didn't have a lot of things that I wanted. I'm not saying that my family or parents were, I'm not saying that I was lacking in that perspective. What I'm saying is, because I didn't have my father in my life, because I did have to go to prison for the amount of time that I had to go for, that I was missing certain things. So being that I am in my son's life, being that I have the opportunity to be the father that I am, I also want to give him something. I feel like other cultures, they are wealthy for a reason.
It's a family tree. They family don't.
They they leave things for their kids, so that they have a
generational
head
wealth.
start.
Yeah,
That generational wealth.
That's the
Speaking
ones.
of, I'm sorry, I just wanted to shout out real fast before I forget. Speaking of generational wealth, shout outs to also the black entrepreneurs, Earn Your Leisure, who is also another motivation that helped me to understand like stocks and business, and helped me to push to get the LLC, because seeing other black people, seeing other people like me do those type of things also helped to motivate that. So,
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
No, I was just like a little chiming in what you was about to say was like, that's for all those people that have like this. He wants his child to have a silver spoon, never worried about anything in his life. He's gonna
No,
be good.
but it's also instilling those
Morals,
those
though.
attributes that you were able to acquire. You may have acquired them the hard way, but through your experiences, you can share that with your son to build them up in a more positive fashion and be that father that you never had.
That's a
You
fact.
never had, So
Yeah.
that's a beautiful thing,
I didn't understand how adults could forget like the things they didn't like when they were a kid. Meaning, like, I didn't like when adults would tell me, "Yo, stay in a child's place," when you and I both know I'm correct.
Yeah.
Like
As if you don't have a perception as well. Yeah.
Because of my age, or I was restricted of doing certain things just because you were afraid. Like, it just shouldn't be like that. So because I didn't forget certain things that I went through when I was a kid, I didn't forget certain things that I didn't like as an adult, as a father, I don't parent that way.
Exactly.
And I don't mentor that way towards the people, because I don't just mentor children, I mentor adults. Whoever I train, I do my fitness classes outside the UFC or inside, or inside or outside. I always give that positive motivation and inspire to go to the next level, be the best you, like show out, do it like you're doing it for TV,
Right.
because why not? You only live one life. You have to live your best life. There's 7.5 billion people in this world, but only one you.
That's a
Be
fact.
that best you.
Yes, sir.
Let everybody see that best you.
There is no other you. Yes, sir. Be that best you. That is very
Yes.
wonderful advice to give our audience. Be that best you. Be the best version of you, because there's only one you. There's only one you. There's not. And I said this the other day too, because there's a statement they say that in the eyes of another, there's 1,000 different you. Remember I said that, yeah.
1,000 different things.
It's true.
So the only one perception that should truly matter is your perception of yourself, because
Absolutely.
that's is who you are, and you are responsible for that. No one else. You know, circumstances. We feel that circumstances may dictate who we are, who we become, who we may have been. But realistically speaking, the one source that determines all of that is you. You yourself. You yourself, nobody else. But with that being said, when it comes to you, I want you to tell our audience where they can reach you out here in this world for the insight that you have provided today
So
and you will provide in the future. You feel me?
I have an Instagram, DA_boyk.
Sir,
Where,
the link
you
will be
know,
in the description down there. Yes, sir.
Yeah, you can definitely catch me there. Other than that, you know, I'm always in Westchester, just, you know, smiling and riding around doing what I like to do best, which is doing me.
Yes, sir. Yes. Yes, sir. As you should, bro. We don't blame you, man. And we thank you for joining us here, bro. For real. That's what it's all about.
Appreciate you so much for pulling up and having this wonderful conversation with us, my brother. I really
sir.
appreciate that.
Because that's what we would like. We would like for others like you to come up and share your insight on life, you know, and impart wisdom on our audience. That's what we would all like to do with our experiences from life, because we've done that with each other throughout our lives. You have your crowd as well that I believe you impart wisdom on them. They impart wisdom on you through what you all go through, right? So this is what we take, and we take that and we give it to everyone out there
fact.
in hopes that something we have said here may motivate you, have taught you something. And as I've always stated, if there's anything that you can add to our circle,
Please just put it in the
put it
comments
in the
below.
comments, the chat. You can always catch us. We're polishing up what we're doing here, and you know, we're doing our best to progress on everything. And we thank you all for joining us as
Every
we
single
iron out
week.
those wrinkles. We will be changing our broadcast to Tuesdays at 7 p.m. This is our first time having a guest, but this guest, I must say, brother, thank you. It was a pleasure having you here. And you are more than welcome to come back up as we progress with the platform. And as you progress with your life, we would like for you to bring your experiences back to the table, bro.
Definitely.
Big talks,
Absolutely.
you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
My man Bunny had a long day at work because he hustled hard out here.
Yeah.
But he's still here with us. You know, sometimes you here and you ain't gotta really be here,
But you
here.
can be here.
You know what I'm saying?
You don't really
You know
gotta
what I'm
presence
saying?
is a
But
presence.
you always
Be
love.
present.
You know what I'm saying? Because you know, we at the Spittles and we all chilling. And before we started streaming, Bunny was here with us, but he's had a long day, and that's well respected. But some of you have had a long day as well, so I'm gonna let y'all go. And as well, like I said, we always invite you to come chill with us. Thank you.
Please, I need everybody to go like, follow, subscribe
Yes, sir.
to.
You know, tell them where to find you at as well.
Oh,
you know?
and you can also find me at Cuban Hound, and that's on all social medias. Cuban Hound.
Yes, sir. You can find me on IG at IamPachFM, and that's IAM.PACH.FM.
You can find Buddy on IG as well at JBuddy183. Yeah.
What's up? Just holler at us if you want to share anything with us, if you want to tap in. And with that being said, I guess we're going to sign off and catch you all next week. Thank
Turn
you
that
once
post
again.
notification on.
Yeah, the bell. Turn that bell on. Tap in. Tap in. So you all have a good night. We're going to let you go.